Okay, so in lesson 15, we're learning different ways to move the sprites. In the past, we've created, we used the math. We used the math to, or the counter, I guess, the math code or the counter code to move the fish. So here we said that if we move, or if we press the left key, oops, why isn't it working? If we hold down the left key, the fish are going to move with these different speeds. Okay, here the orange fish is going to move to the X by 2 each frame, the blue by 3 each frame, and the green by 1 each frame. And since we're subtracting, we're moving to the left. So rather than setting up the math counter, we're going to learn of, I guess, a simpler way to make the fish move. And I know some of you guys are thinking, okay, Mr. Tran, why do we learn the other method if this method is easier? Well, there's two reasons for that. The first reason, and I think the more important reason, is because there are going to be different times when we have to use those math counters, so we need to make sure we understand it. That's the biggest reason. And the second reason is really for you to see that there are different ways to do different things. Some ways are more efficient or faster than the others. So in this case, I think we're going to learn the more efficient method, and we're going to be focusing on the velocity, the sprite velocity block or property. And let's take a look at what we're asked to do. So it's saying that we've used the counter pattern before. That's what I introduced earlier, where we had sprite1x equals sprite1x plus 1, and it's going to move by 1 pixel each frame of the draw loop. This pattern is so common that sprites have a velocity x property that does this for you. So what we're going to do is let's understand the code first. We have a fish created at 50, 150, so 50x, 150, so around here somewhere. It's going to be an orange fish, or whatever the animation for orange fish is. We have this draw function. It's going to draw, we don't know the colors because I haven't even memorized the RGB. I don't think anyone really does. But we have a background. We have a bunch of circles or ellipses. And now what we're asked to do is to simply drag a sprite velocity block where your sprite is created. If we click show me where, it'll point down here for us. So we're going to use the sprite velocity block, and we're going to name it the fish because that's the variable name. And they ask us to assign the property value of 1. So we're going to do that, and we're going to run the code. And what we notice is instead of using the math counter, the fish is moving in the x-axis by 1 pixel each frame. Okay, it asks us to run the code or rerun the code with a different property value. So maybe let's change this to perhaps 5. And we'll notice that the higher value means it moves faster. So I'm using a simpler, I think simpler is the right word, simpler puzzle as a demonstration this lesson. Some of them do get a bit more complex, especially when you have the frog towards the end jumping over a mushroom. Just make sure you guys are looking at the directions carefully. I want to leave some of the problem solving to you guys to really see how we're doing with the coding. As always, feel free to join us in tutoring on Thursdays if you feel like you're stuck or if you're having a difficult time.